We're here at Film Festival International. It's Madrid 2019. Good morning. And look who we've got here. We've got Amel Tresnjic.
Right. Good to see you again. Thank you.
Welcome, my friend. Tell us what you've been up to. You've got Singfest here, and obviously we saw you at the beginning of the circuit. This is probably the tail end of your circuit now. Tell us what you've been up to.
Pretty much been very, very busy. Since the last time I saw you, the film went around a few other festivals as well, and it picked up quite a few awards. So at the moment it's on 13 international awards, including documentary short, documentary feature, because some classify it differently in terms of the length.
Yeah.
It's got directing, editing, sound mixing. It's also got some awards for viewer impact, like motivational and inspirational. So I've been quite busy since the last time I saw you in London.
Wow. So we're talking about Singfest, the literacy of music, which is a real catalyst for change in the education system now. It's the buzzword is unlocking the potential within.
Definitely.
Did you come up with that yourself?
No, I didn't. It's actually the slogan of the school.
Wow.
So the school
just beautiful synergy.
Absolutely. So the school and everything that they do and everything that they stand for, which is what the film on so many levels represents, is really embedded in that unlocking of the full potential of the children.
That's
because
so great.
they go above and beyond the traditional way of how you can make a delivery of learning and education, and that takes them to the next level.
That's
reaching heights that they could never reach before.
That's fabulous. There's not enough content that follows education. There's certainly not enough content out that stimulates the students. The back catalogue in the education curriculum is ridiculous, and the content that they use to stimulate the education system is archaic. And there's more and more old films being used now for engagement models within stories, and the school kids looking at each other going, who's that? What's going on there? Why am I watching this? They get it, but children are children at the end of the day. A child would influence a child. A teacher will influence a child. Trying to convince them 20-year-old actor is doing the right thing on screen as an engagement prospect is not always going to work. So stuff like this is absolute gold, And I've watched it. I've seen it. I've been part of the energy in the room. I've listened to the discussions afterwards. It's a real engagement piece. So teachers must be falling over themselves to be a part of this.
Definitely they are. All the awards and all the achievements, and travelling to Madrid now as well, they over the moon, very, very excited about it.
Brilliant.
Because it's a testimony. It's not just a testimony for a film. I always say it's the story. I'm just a filmmaker who captured the story of that energy that's taking place every day at Emerson School in a low socioeconomic area within Melbourne, and they're doing magic. They're doing absolute magic, and they're pioneering this way of musical literacy in all areas.
Wow. It's like a wave effect. It's like the ripple effect, then it becomes the tidal, then it becomes the wave, then the tidal wave, and now it's the catalyst. Now everybody wants to get on the moving train, as it were. That's right. Which is always the case, but with the education system investing in itself as it is now, the prospects are huge. The opportunities to get it right are huge. I mean, there's never enough money there to do something that they want, but what they can achieve with the right supports and the right backing and whatnot, people like yourself that believe in the outcome of the dream, and they're happy to give the time. Yes, we all want to get paid for our work, of course we do, but it's a choice to get involved with something like this. And as a filmmaker, you make a life choice.
Absolutely.
And the voice that you want to put out there as a filmmaker is indicative of the work that you do. So you're a catalyst for change, my friend. And that's there should be more people like this in the industry. There really should. There's nothing wrong in wanting to make good content that has feel-good aspects, but education, that's a must. Are you looking for distribution for this?
Absolutely.
You are?
If we can put it out there, if we can reach a wider audience in terms of spreading the good word of what this wonderful school is up to, and potentially replicating and inspiring other schools to think differently. Because usually there's a block. You either understand music as a literacy, and it's usually understood as in you learning an instrument, but it's not just learning an instrument. It's actually embedding music through English, through maths, through all the different literacy, and that really engages those students who usually would hit a roadblock in their lives to transcend it and go much much further than they could before.
Yeah, inclusion in the subject matters. There's an actual style that embeds in the approach to teaching, isn't there? And if a student can ingest an approach to maths, an approach to geography, an approach to history, and they're just ingesting that information, it's not study. It's just information, and this is the start of something great, because music is an elation.
Definitely,
it's not just a voice; it's an energy. So, if these kids are interacting and they're engaging and they're learning social skills,
absolutely,
through this,
absolutely,
that can never be a bad thing.
and that's the big part of it. Besides just using music as a literacy, as a tool for the learning to really grow, there's also an element of uniting all the students together and really creating this union through music, because music has the ability to transcend all cultural barriers and everything that we sort of limit ourselves as a society in, because it becomes sort of the language of the world.
Absolutely.
And this is sort of what I think the film captured really well on that particular day, because the film was actually shot in about 4.5 hours.
Wow.
So the whole event took place in 4.5 hours. I was actually originally called in to just take snippets so they can have a little bit of footage that they can use to show for their staff and so forth. But when I walked in and I felt the energy of the school and the principal and the teachers and their passion and their love and what they were doing, I thought, wow, there's a wonderful story here that must be told. And from there, it sort of grew into something much bigger than even I didn't know at that point. And now it's a feature-length 49-minute documentary film.
Wow. Well, look, every child is different, and every child learns differently. Some children learn by doing, some others learn by listening, others just naturally absorb, and others you have to repeat. But they're all sat in the same classroom. They all have the same chance of engagement and interaction. And something like this is a lift. It's a positive.
Absolutely.
And they need people like you to keep these messages going. So I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Saturday night.
Yes.
Coming
awards.
up quick.
Yes,
You
awards
got
night.
some nominations?
Yes, I do. I'm nominated
Fantastic.
in 3 categories.
Yeah.
So, Best Feature Documentary,
Yeah.
Best Director in a Feature Documentary, and also Best Original Score.
Wow.
And the score is really one that's dedicated to one of the teachers who's actually in the documentary, who's the musical director. She actually wrote a song while I was editing. She just put together the song in one night and shared it with me via email, and she said, Amel, if you have a space to use this somewhere, feel free to use it. If not, that's perfectly okay.
Wow.
And I listened to the track and it was just really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And it just fit right in there, because it's the whole energy of people coming together and creating something very, very special.
It's beautiful.
And it's in the film, and it also got nominated, which is really fantastic for her to get that recognition.
Well, that's beautiful. That's great. See, there are great things happening. We have a great ripple effect going on here. I hope it continues. Speaking of continuing, you better get out there and
Yes,
network and go and
definitely.
see somebody else's project and,
Yes.
and do what you do best, which is connect people and, always bring in the good energy. Thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure. Thank you so
Absolute
much.
pleasure
Really good to see you again.
And have a good rest of the festival. Good luck on Saturday.
Will do. Thank you so much.
There's no culture which doesn't have music. It's something we all have in common.
Music moves people, it motivates people, it bonds.
Life is a symphony, and every person in this symphony has a really important part to play.
It's been documented clearly in all sorts of areas that music helps in so many ways.
Teaching maths, science, cooking, automotive, you need it all. The education system doesn't really understand how much learning music can help all those subjects as well.
There are so many different types of literacies we need to be thinking about, and it is through the literacy of music that you'll develop the fuller potential and the fuller person of the young child with the smiling eyes.
We all know that music helps in so many ways, but it's always a question of money, and it's always a question of convincing the powers that be that this is the case and that they should put more money into music programs in schools. But the advantages are quite clearly defined and obvious, really.
Our school, we're very lucky because our whole curriculum is everything about the child.
The arts and music really are essential to all learning pathways. You know, Emerson's really embraced that in a wonderful way.
There's been a quantum leap in music at this school in all aspects of the musical arts, and we actually want to share it with everybody.